I'll try.
All right. Amy's back now, everybody. She's back. She's super focused. Look at her. She's ready. Okay. So hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Digital PNA. About to share a screen here. Ready to be dazzled. Look at that. Boom. Thank you once again for being here. This is the twice a month digital community, which means completely online, covering 3 states now, thanks to people who have fled Washington State. Fled or fled? I don't know, one of those. Either way, they're gone, but they're still with us here in Digital PNA. And now we're spreading out throughout basically a larger chunks of Washington because JR, or Jorge, or otherwise known as Paul, as far as I'm concerned, he's out in the Cle area. So it's very exciting. I am your president.
Cle, Quebec.
Yeah, which again is closer to Quebec than most.
Quebec, yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm president. I'm moving on. That's just my big face. But I want to show you, we are still growing. We've had a little bit of up and down. We had 2 folks that decided not to renew for this year because they're doing bigger and better things in their brain, and that's wonderful. But we also now have, as we mentioned, Jorge or JR, and then Kelly Langdon will hopefully jump on the line soon here as well. So, and then what are those red boxes there, or at least red digits? It's the referral program. If you do refer anyone to the Digital PNA community and they submit a membership and we vet them heavily and we approve them, once they pay the membership, I will give you $100 thank you. So if that interests you, then consider reaching into your network and find some people that you think would benefit from just not being tied to a zip code, right? Not being tied to a brick and mortar, but want to expand their reach throughout Washington State and now beyond. So thanks for everybody for being here. So we're back to the volunteer phase here. We need some volunteers for these roles. I'd like to get someone that can snap a picture or 2. Now, keep in mind, you can be goofy. You can turn your chair around with your selfie camera or phone camera, whatever. You can take a selfie stick of whatever picture of all of us on the screen, or you can do a snapshot from your monitor, whatever you want to do, but do that and send it out to us. We need to get a photographer to volunteer. We need okay, you did. Thank you, JR. I kind of like JR. That's kind of sexy. It's like, hey, JR.
Yeah.
Tracker, we need someone to track things like, hey, that's sexy. Listen for quotables. If anyone number drops, anything along those lines, it's always a great opportunity to share out that information, track it. If we do have any closed business to report, you can also document that and get it our way. Anybody want to be the tracker? Dun, dun, dun. I'll have to volunteer someone if no one says yes.
I will doodle.
Okay, well, okay, she jumped the gun. Okay, so Marcel wants to doodle. There we go. She's already spilled the root beer everywhere, so she might as well doodle with that. She has instant media with her mixed.
I didn't spill it. I caught it before it overflowed.
Oh, you did? Okay, good. Excellent.
I'm feeling very skilled this morning.
That's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and be the timer because it's just easier. I've got the screen control and all that. So I need someone to track things. No, and Karen can't because she's speaking today. So it's going to be a eeny, meeny, miny, Amy instead of a Mo. So Amy, could you do me a solid and track if you hear anything awe-inspiring or make something up? Maybe we'll never know. That would be great. So thank you for that. Okay, we're going to do our commercials around the proverbial digital room here. As always, it's who you are, what you do. You can mention maybe something that separates you from the competition, things along those lines. But at the same time, use the opportunity. If there's a really cool project that you're working on or a situation that you just solved for a client, share that. And then afterwards, we're going to go around the room with another particular subject that we'll talk about in a bit. So back to all your lovely faces, even that one person. Let's go ahead and start with Karen. And I will start timing the second I hear from you.
Okay, I'm your speaker today, but I am Karen Koenig with KK Financial Solutions, and I am a wealth manager. And what that means is I'm not only a financial advisor where I can invest your money, but I also can do money coaching, financial planning. I recently added business valuation to my repertoire, and that way if you have a friend or family member or anybody out there that has a business and they're looking to sell it, I can evaluate their business and help them figure out what that is worth. I also typically work with business owners like yourself because I like to show you the tax incentives that you can get as a business owner that's above and beyond what the normal people understand. And then I'll be talking a little bit today about saving for a down payment. So good information for not only mortgage brokers, but everybody really. So I'll give you some updates on that. So I am Karen Koenig with KK Financial Solutions, live in Arizona, but I'm licensed in multiple states.
Awesome, Karen. Thank you for that. Let's go ahead and go to JR.
Yeah, hi. So my name is Jorge, JR, also known as Paul at Night. So I am with the Raintown Realty team over in Bellevue. My main goal and specialty is helping people who are first-time home buyers. And as you guys know, or maybe some of you don't, I've been DPA, can't say certified, but trained. So I'm well aware of some of the things that some of the people can do to take advantage of some programs through the state and be able to have some financial assistance for a down payment for a home. And so, yeah, I work anywhere from King, Pierce, Kittitas, and Snohomish County. So I'm all over the place. And, you know, I help everybody. So that's me.
There you go. Thanks for that. Amy, let's hear from you.
All right, Amy with Movement Mortgage. So I've met most of you guys a few times or two. So I do a lot of first-time home buyer, same as JR, Junior, Paul does. I do a lot of second homes, investment homes, licensed in Arizona, Florida, of course, Washington State, and Idaho, right? That's the most important one. Anyways, I own and run an Airbnb. So I'm trying to really run with that lately because that's what a lot of people are interested in. They're interested in, you know, what kind of revenue that looks like. They're looking at opening their portfolio, right, Karen? So kind of just investing in different things, right? Not just long-term investments, not just stocks, bonds, 401k stuff, but kind of just opening it all up. So if you know of anybody that's really just trying to get into the investment world, reach out. I can tell them, you know, what I've experienced personally and professionally at an Airbnb and a VRBO level. And then I can also look at, you know, different areas in the nation that really are revenue generating, right? It's based on location and how much you can get the occupancy rate up to. So again, lots of moving parts there, but if you have anybody that's, you know, interested in that, have them reach out. I'd love to run some numbers for them and see what we can do. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. And Amy, creative take to your ad. I haven't heard that direction yet. That's great. Lynette, let's hear from you, and then Marcel.
Many of my clients, when we begin working together and we talk about what their big problems are, one of the biggest things I hear, and it's almost a whisper, is no one knows who I am. And it's a terribly painful thing to go online and search for yourself or your business and you're invisible. My name's Lynette Hoy, and I am the founder and CEO of Fire Talker PR. And I help people alleviate that pain to get seen and heard and appreciated and to become the go-to expert, not only for the media so that they get interviewed and grow their business through consistent media appearances, but also so that their next client can find them and benefit from their expertise, and everyone can grow and prosper. And that is the end of my little 1 minute.
That was awesome. Apparently you were timing yourself. You had a little time left. Thank you, Lynette. Marcel, how about you?
I'm going to represent Ricardo today. I don't know if you guys can see him. He is not here today. He's traveling abroad, and he runs Expedia Cruises Mill Creek. They are on Instagram. And did you know that if you or a friend or a spouse secretly hates their job, Mill Creek Expedia is hiring. They are looking for people to become travel agents. So if you secretly want to talk about Bora Bora instead of something that's boring, or you want to learn more about Japan or travel, there are options for you to start a side hustle traveling and helping other people travel. So if you know somebody who secretly hates their work and has a great time connecting people to places, definitely check out Expedia Cruises Mill Creek on Instagram or reach out to Ricardo. Okay, I'll take off my hat from him because I just helped to make his first reel. I'm very excited about that. But I am Marcelle Allen, owner of Dreamosity, and Dreamosity is a social media management and training company where I support remarkable leaders as they navigate the internet. So a lot of the social media activities actually can help them get found in those search results. So I focus on Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook because those are all ones where I've helped clients make money over the years. So whether you want to make your first $100 on the internet or your first 10,000, there are tactics and strategies that I can help you do where it's not just thinking about dollars per hour, which is what we all did as employees, but what is the results per hour? So whether that's advertising, video, collaboration, there's a lot of ways to leverage your time so you can create win-wins. And if you're not sure how to do that, please reach out. You can always go to dreamosity.com and schedule a quick 15-minute call just to reconnect or share about a project or get some support.
Awesome. Marcel, thank you. And I was just about to say, Kelly, go ahead, but she stepped away for a second. So I will give a quick commercial. Good afternoon, everybody. It is a sunny, warm day here in Washington State. So to Karen, I am thrilled to be here. It's really good to see all your faces. I co-own a tiny little company in the Pacific Northwest called Laugh Tech, and it is a really, really fun company. It's an engagement company. And what does that mean? I'm glad you asked, Amy. What it means is that we teach people, we work with people all over the place how to become better, more engaged, more likable, more listenable, more hireable, more ROI-able, and ideally memorable speakers, whether that's the first time or the umpteenth time, whether you're stuck in the digital box here or you're face-to-face or you're on stage in front of one-to-many. All of those experiences can have the same amount of sheer terror associated to them. So we try to take out that and insert your competence and your confidence that comes with practice. We do that through the 6 methods of humor curriculum. It can be broken into itty bitty little bits and fed to you spoon fed as we hold your hand and walk you through the curriculum, or it can be in individual engagement sessions, which means we work with what you want to work on, but through our methodologies. And we have so much fun. People laugh, they get an ab workout, they don't need to go to the gym. It's a great opportunity. If you know people that suffer from boring or literally are scared to engage with people on levels that they need to make their business successful, we want to hear from you. So that's the commercial. And booyah, perfect timing. Kelly sat down. Yes, Kelly, give us your bestest possible commercial off mute.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I run a nonprofit called the Union Connection. Currently, we are supporting all our law enforcement officers here in Snohomish County with morale boosts, especially for Police Week. We're kind of gearing up for that right now. And then we are also starting another section for Officer Rocha that was killed in the line of duty. We are putting together scholarships for kids seeking a career in public safety. So if you want to get involved, let me know. Thanks.
Outstanding. Thank you for that. So what we're going to do now, some of you are reasonably new to the group, so you may not have experienced this too many times. We're going to have a question. Think of it as a group question, and we're going to kind of round robin, go back through the list, and basically talk about this real quick. It's a simple question for you to answer. And then if anybody has any questions about your answer, then we can deal with that. But what it means is I get to do this again. I'm not going to keep this up on the screen for too long, but simply put, on the social media platforms that you haunt, that you're on a regular basis or a semi-regular basis, how many comments a day do you leave on the messages, on the information, on the posts that you see? So that's kind of a vague question with a layer of specificity. So let me call out Marcelle first, have her give an answer, and then we'll listen to everyone else.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. So I don't know if I haunt any social network. I go to the ones where I enjoy them, and the ones I feel haunted by, I leave very quickly. But in general, I would say comments, I probably leave 20 to 40 a day. I'm pretty active in several spheres, so I'm probably an over commenter.
Okay, there you go. Let's go to Jorge.
I'm actually on board with Marcel here. I don't haunt too many places, but I do try to at least get knowledge from a lot of them. So I'm gonna say at least maybe 10, being fair, 10 a day.
Okay. And sorry about the word haunt. It was just the word I chose. Apparently it's wrong. Disregard. Let's move on. Okay. So about 10 a day. Amy, how about you?
A lot.
Okay.
Obviously that's kind of the name of the game as a lender, just to make sure that you're staying top of mind with realtors, JR, and then with all your financial, or excuse me, referral network. So I try to leave as many as I possibly can on Instagram, Facebook, and then I actually try to keep up with the conversations as well. So I actually block out my day to do it. So
Oh, excellent. Okay. So Amy, if you were to just guess how many comments or engagements that you interact with each day, do you think you have a number? It could be far-fetched, but what do you think?
I would say if I'm super busy, and I don't do a lot of the paper pushing anymore, so I have a lot more time to open up and keep up with clients and referral partners. But I would say probably 150 to 200 on stories and groups and everything, and it's actually been pretty successful so far, so that's good.
That's awesome. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Lynette, how about you? Hi.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Would you like to
Oh,
answer, please?
I had a feeling you anyway. It really varies dramatically of late, coming back from being quite ill. But I would say, number one, not enough. But number two, an average of between social media and email and phone calls, whether I get a response or not, probably 15 or 20 times a day. And I think it should be more like 50 or 60 or more. So a way around that I'm working on is to bring on another VA that specializes in that communication effort, that can possibly do more of that for me, or take on some of my client work, which is difficult because it's public relations work is not just something anybody can just pick up and start doing. They have to be trained in it. So, and it's it's highly specialized. So I'm in a bit of a quandary on all of this in keeping up and moving forward and all the things.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate your answer. Karen, let's go to you. And then Kelly.
Well, I do haunt these social networks because my VA is the one that actually does all the work. So I'm like, I'm in the background. So I would have to ask her. That's a good question. I would say she does it daily. And I would say she does anywhere from 20 to 40. She monitors my social media all day long in between doing other things. So I'll have to ask her, but she does a really good job of monitoring, adding new entities, and then commenting on the entities that we've added. So
okay, great, thank you. And apparently you give yourself a honeydew list item. Okay, go find out. Right, Kelly, how about you? How often do you comment today on the social media pages or any forums that you visit, not haunt, so people don't look at me funny?
I was gonna say you probably should use the word stalked, because I feel like I stalk social media, not necessarily haunt it. But mine's gotta be up over 200 to 300. Facebook is my main source of communicating for my nonprofit. So I am constantly in and out of different groups, in and out of different like Back Blue groups, communicating back and forth through Messenger. I think my biggest thing when it comes to social media is the quality of content and the quality that I put into it instead of the quantity. And I also need to get off Facebook and check out some more of their applications, but you know, they scare me.
All right, cool. Thank you for that. Okay, so I think I made it around the room. I believe I'm the last person to answer here. I do haunt pages now that I'm thinking about it. I guess I wrote that word with an unintentional intent because I'm a likeaholic. I just go through and I'll just blindly scroll like the village idiot and just like if there's posts from people that I know, right? I don't never like a sponsored ad. Gosh forbid, it'll be in your feed forever. And you'll get every other third-party brand selling the same toothbrush or something stupid. But I don't comment as much as I should. And there are people that are in my network that I care for, that I do try to make an effort to say something because it stays in the timeline longer. It stays, you know, from the exposure standpoint, it accelerates that. It keeps it in the algorithm from Facebook, for example. I'm also primarily talking about Facebook, but I have also recently moved over even more to LinkedIn. I'm still a novice, but between marketing the companies, I do that. And I think it's important to do way more. So I probably like 100 to 200 a day. From the likeaholic perspective, I do feel like I need to go to a meeting and say it's been 6 days since I've hit like, but I don't comment as much. I'll probably do, if I'm lucky, 3 to 4 actual comments a day. So I'm a very bad person. Okay, so with all this being said, Marcel's going to take a couple minutes and share a couple things in regard to, well, her subject, but also DigitalPNA and one of the foundations that it is being built up from. So Marcel, I'm going to give you the platform.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. And thanks everybody for sharing. Part of why I asked that question, or I kind of nudged Brian to ask that, is because I don't know. I don't know if people leave 2 comments or 200. The fact that somebody said up to 400 just excites me. So one thing, an idea on commenting. So one, it can help you develop your own thought leadership on a topic. So if somebody says, hey, what's your, you know, something about soccer, or something about stock markets, or something about real estate, or wealth creation, or arts and crafts, who knows what, like you may respond and you may see that there's like 20 or 30 or 100 other comments in there. So you may just have like a perspective, but sometimes you'll be like, ooh, I really have a perspective I want to share. I encourage you to screenshot your own comment for future content creation, a future reel, a future blog post, a future, I don't know, infographic or an anagram or a meme, because everyone here has a lot of thought leadership and knowledge and expertise in their area. And there are times you are answering comments that it is worthy of a screenshot for future action, right? So that's one encouragement. Here at DigitalPNA, one of our big goals is to get people syndicating and cross-promoting and sharing each other's comment. And I know that's tricky if you're not there. If it's your VA, they don't necessarily know who's on your safe list or who's on your shareable list. And so I just wanted to have kind of a conversation and 3 very specific challenges or encouragements for everybody of how we can be supporting each other. And of course, as we do one-to-ones, as we connect offline, we can then go deeper with each other on that. But one of the really simple ones is to save somebody's content. This is a weird thing I'm learning about Instagram, but if you were to save somebody's reel or save their meme into a little folder, that actually helps them, right? That tells Instagram, hey, this person's content is good, so save it. Whether or not you do anything with it, it's up to you, right? Maybe it's an idea you want to toss around in another forum, or maybe you want to bring this, you know, requote this person's expertise. But that save button, it looks like a little kind of ribbon, like a half ribbon. So just hit that save button. It also works on Facebook. Another thing to do, you can share to a story, right? So when people share to a story, you can then add a link. So here, if you want to say connect with, you know, Karen on Facebook, you could link to her Facebook or link to her website or link to their podcast, right? So what I'm finding is links work really painfully in the comments of Instagram, for example, but they work great on Facebook. But the workaround for Instagram is to add a link to the story. So I'm actually seeing traffic on my sites and other client sites. They're getting a lot more traffic than they've ever gotten before from Instagram if you're adding the link to the story. So if you're not checking your web traffic, web analytics or, the traffic results, that's something to be on the lookout for. Because if you're doing Instagram well, you're going to start getting traffic from Instagram stories, and it's actually reporting that in Google Analytics, which is just a cool thing to know about. And then the other thing, my sister and I do this a lot, hit the copy link button. It's another indicator. And again, this is more for Instagram, but if you hit the three little dots in the top right and you hit copy link, and say you don't want to share it to your story because it's not on brand or it's not really in your lane, you could share it to a friend. You could share it to me, share it to sister, parent, spouse, kid, politician, who knows what. But there's ways to move information around and just copying that link and sending it, and it can advance the conversation between two people. So I want to encourage you to try some of these this next week, specifically with your digital PNA members. Share their content. If you don't see their content, hop on their Facebook, at least maybe the day before digital PNA, and then we can share some traffic. I know I've been running the PNA Instagram several days out of the week, and I'll literally just share anybody in our network. I'll just share it. So if you're posting content, I will share it, or Brian will share it, or it will be shared, because we want to give you exposure. We know part of the game isn't talking to your same 100, 300,000 people. It's how do you get in front of new audiences, and we want to help you do that. So if you have more questions, or if you want me to review anything, we can talk about that briefly, or again, I'm happy to do one-to-one to help take this concept further so we can get that momentum moving here. So we really want it to be a win-win-win for everybody. Any questions before I give it back to Brian?
Yeah, we've got about 5 minutes allocated for questions. Does anybody have anything they want to toss your way?
Just not really a question, but something that you taught me was groups. Can you talk about those and how those are special? How can you utilize them?
So Facebook groups, look at them as like a little community of people, right? Or a store. People don't always spend all their time there, but sometimes you go into that group and people they're talking, they're discussing, they're sharing, right? So I think every one of us should have at least 5 groups that we pop in and out of every day, if not every week, if not 20, right? Some of us who do a lot of networking from home, multiple groups may be on there, but you always want to try to connect with the leader of the group. They're the ones that set the rules, the pace, the tempo, the events, right? So always try to connect with, and maybe it might take you 3 months to build up to knowing that leader of the group, but connect with the leader. You can always hit the photos tab in a group to see what kind of that visual conversation is about. I kind of compare it to like the wallpaper, like what is the general look and feel of this community, right? A group all about sports and the Strava app looks very different than, nail painting or crafts or stock market. So always kind of get a vibe for the group before you share too many opinions, right? Because there's a lot of work that's been done to build that group. And other thing for groups, you can look at the files tab to see what type of files have been shared. Oftentimes you can share a previous blog post or your own free ebook or other content to get in that tab. I check the media tab or that files tab probably within the first 2 days of joining a group. I want to know like what type of body of work has already been discussed in this group. In a lot of groups, there's not a lot of thoughtfulness, right? There's an opportunity for leaders to grow. Amy, with Facebook groups and even Instagram, I have often a sheet of paper next to me because like I'm Dreamosity on Instagram, but I'm Marcel Allen in other places. And so people may not remember how to spell Dreamosity. So I encourage clients, when you're networking, have a pen and paper handy. So say like your goal is, I want to go find 5 bloggers, or I want to go find 5 people making reels, or I want to go find 5 people who love the Kraken, whatever your goal is, right? Try to be on offense, and then literally write down the username of that handle for like Instagram, because you may not remember the name versus the username, and that username may change, right? So there's different ways, but I encourage people to be on offense versus defense. Offense to me is creating content. Defense is responding to content. They're both important. And there's a lot of opportunity that I feel people aren't necessarily leveraging. What else can I say about groups? If you don't have one for yourself, definitely create one for your community, because then you get to set the pace, you get to set the tempo, you get to set the agenda of topics, you get to invite and kick people out if you want. So running your own group, there's a lot of power to that. Not necessarily power, but it positions you as a leader in the community versus someone who's not leading a group.
And any last question, or is there a last question we can throw her way? If not, we need to move on to our speaker. Okay. All right. Thank you, Marcel.
Yep,
Very
thanks,
much
Brian.
appreciate your input there. And again, this is one of the reasons why we don't actually encourage it as much here, and that's on me. Have one-to-ones with each other, folks. Connect with each other offline. And if you are in a different state, like two of the people here represented today, excuse my stuttering, get on Zoom, have an hour, half hour on both sides, for lack of better words, both lines of the state, you know, and talk about potato farming, Lynette, and talk about extreme heat, Karen, whatever the case is. You know, there's huge opportunities there to learn about each other, and especially talk and share about how you can do more even for each other online. It's really, really important to be sharing out each other's content to help gain exposure. So thank you for that again. Okay, back to the share screen really quick. And Karen, will you need to share a screen once? Oh, okay, so this login makes me give you the full hosting, which is silly, but it is what it is. So I'll give it to you in just a minute here. Slideshow, Karen's headshot, here we go. She's going to speak today, KK Financial Solutions. Karen Koenig is the owner. She's a financial advisor, and she is also an author. A couple of years back, right? Women on Top. And that's her information. I'll put that in the chat window as well, so you can reach out to her. I just wanted to show that really quickly. And then I'll give the control back to you. Looking very much forward to hearing what you have to talk about today.
Okay.
It's
Take
still
myself
80
from
steps
mute,
for me to do this. There we go. All right, Karen, you've got the floor. 20 minutes. I'll give you a 10-minute mark and a 19-minute mark, giving you a minute to wrap up. Okay.
Okay, hang on 1 second. I'm gonna start the PowerPoint. All right. And then I will share it. Make sure I'm on the right screen. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Looks good.
All right. So I am Karen Koenig with KK Financial Solutions, and my Instagram handle and my Facebook handle are down in the bottom left. But I started KK Financial Solutions 2 years ago in the middle of the pandemic, April of 2021. I walked away from a large firm and started KK Financial Solutions. I've been in the financial industry for 8 years. Prior to that, I was 26 years in the military, and then I worked 6 years at Boeing as a project manager. And all that to say that here I did write a book. It was in 2019, and I'm getting ready to revamp that book, republish it, make it a bigger book with bigger and better stuff that I've learned over the last few years since I made that or wrote that book. And I've had the privilege to be on several podcasts, been interviewed on several Facebook Lives. I have read or written several articles for Help a Reporter Out. Thanks to Lynette Hoy, she showed me how to do that. I'm working on my 3rd article for them that's been published. So that's always a good way to get yourself out there. But what I'm going to talk about today is saving for a down payment for a house. And this is really, it's to help the mortgage brokers, it's help the real estate agents, but it's to help anybody really. Because a lot of people think, oh, I just have to save and put money away in a savings account, which is true. That is one of the ways that you could come up with a down payment. But not only should you save for that down payment, but you need to park that money somewhere where you can earn money. So a savings account is not going to do it for you. Savings accounts pay little to next to nothing. You got inflation at 7-8%. So you need something that's going to make you a little bit of money. It may not out make inflation, but at least you'll keep up a little bit with it. So that kind of leads me to number 2, where if you park your money where you can earn money, you could do something which is called laddering CDs. So you could purchase a CD. Let's say you had $30,000 and we could purchase 3 CDs. We could purchase one for 3 months, one for 6 months, one for 9 months. And what happens is every 3 months, a CD will come due, and then we can buy another one and put it at the end. And you take advantage of the current CD rates when you do that. So I've been doing this for the last, the CD rates started going up when they started raising interest rates. So a lot of people who had money on the sidelines gave their money to me. We laddered their CDs, and they're making some really good interest right now. It's up to 5%, but it changes on a daily basis. Is 5% going to outpace inflation? No, but it's going to be better than 0 or 1 cent that you get on a savings account. The other thing, saving for a down payment, is lower your expenses. What I've found a lot of times is when I work with my money coaching clients, they don't have a budget. They have a budget in their head, and I used to do the same thing. But once I make them start writing, once I encourage them to start writing things down on a budget worksheet that I have that I give to my clients, it really kind of opens up their eyes on things that they spend money on that they don't necessarily need to spend money on. So I am able to help them lower their expenses, free up some cash that then they can go over and park their money into somewhere they can earn money. The next one is reduce your high interest rate debt. So if you have some credit card debt out there, or high interest rate debts, now probably isn't the time to refinance. But if you have credit card debt, you could do things that's called like a waterfall, where you pay off the highest interest credit card first, and then you roll that money that you're paying from that credit card to the next one. So you're paying double the money or whatever it is for the next credit card. Or there is several credit cards out there that have 0 interest rate. So Discover credit card, or the Discover, is one of the credit card companies that I recommend for my clients to do a balance transfer. So they can do 0% for 18 months and then pay down that debt. Other thing that I really like to talk about is asking for a gift. And what I mean by that is every person can gift up to $17,000. Last year it was $16,000. This year it's $17,000. You can gift it to anybody you want. So if you have a grandparent or somebody who wants to gift money to you, it becomes a tax-free entity for the person who gifts. It becomes a tax-free entity for you, and you can get up to $17,000 to help you with a down payment, anywhere from 0 to $17,000. And if you're married, your spouse can also do that. So lots of times parents will give $34,000 to their kids. And the great thing about this, that's a yearly limit, but the lifetime limit for gifting is $12.92 million. So you're probably never going to hit that ceiling with your gifting, but it is a good way to create tax-free money for a down payment. Other one is you can borrow from a retirement plan. A lot of people don't know that if you have a IRA and even a 401k, you can borrow up to $10,000 from that plan and not have to pay a penalty for being under 59.5. And that's because there's an IRS rule that allows you to take $10,000 for a down payment. And you just have to fill out a form when it comes to tax time. So that's the biggest caveat right there, is make sure you fill out that form, because otherwise you will get charged the 10% penalty, and you don't want that. Another way that you could save for a down payment is sell some of your investments. So if you have another investment account out there that has money in it, you could sell your investments. One thing you have to be careful about, though, that is depending on what you sell and how much you get, how much gains you've had on that particular investment, you will have to pay capital gains. But the great thing about that is capital gains is usually less than what your tax rate is for you as a person. So always good to work with an advisor if you're going to sell some investments, to do anything just so you can make sure that you're not paying too many taxes on it. And then obviously the last one is you could get a second job. You could use, in this day and age of doing virtual work, it's easy to be able to make some side money that you could then jump into a savings account somewhere that you can earn some money on it. So overall, these are the different ways that you can save for a down payment. These are the top ones that I like to talk about. Are there other ways? Yes, there is. But I just like to talk about these because I want people to know that you don't just have to just throw stuff into a savings account. That is, you know, a good way to do it, but there is other ways to come up with money, and you always want to work with a mortgage broker and your real estate agents to also know what do you qualify for, and then you'll know what that down payment is, and then you can start saving towards that down payment. You don't want to just arbitrarily start saving money and know what you're saving for. So that's it for saving for a down payment, and I can stop the share and we can do any questions.
That's great. Okay. Karen, thank you. Love the topic. Also hate the topic. Scared of the topic. Curled up under my desk normally in a fetus position because of the topic. Who has questions for her?
What's the best script for asking for a gift? Or like 3 good scripts? Like, knock, knock, hey, mom and dad. Like, what would you say? You gotta prepare.
Well,
that,
so,
right?
you know, we've done it several times. So like, they use the gifting lots of times. Let's say if somebody has uncirculated cash. So you got that person that's got cash sitting in their safe. And let's say they have $30,000, they need $20,000 for a down payment. Well, your lending company is not going to use that because it's uncirculated money. So you can give a gift, and we've done it before. We've given a gift to our parents for a certain amount of money. So then obviously they pay us back. But that way we give it to them. It's a tax-free event. So you could have that conversation. You can have the conversation and say, yeah, mom and dad, you know, did you know that you could give me up to $34,000 and it's a tax-free event for you? And they just have to tell their CPA that they gave that gift. So I don't think that's a hard conversation. I mean, my kids are asking me for money all the time. So it's like, I would rather give them a gift and have it go towards a, you know, down payment on a house than throwing it away on rent or something like that. So that's 2 ways. Third way, if you had a really good friend, you know, each person you can actually gift to anybody. So, you know, Marcella, if you have a really good friend, you said, hey, Brian, could you gift me $17,000?
Heck, even 5.
You have to
Seems
spell
to be
the
a problem
point.
with the connection. I
Awesome.
hear you all of a sudden.
Thank you,
have to-
Karen. I saw Lynette's hand up next. So go ahead,
Oh, yeah,
Lynette.
Well, you kind of answered my question a little bit, but let's say you are not 25, 35, 45. What other options may exist to just overall, you know, improve your, other than, you know, working 2 or 3 jobs when you've already got, you know, full-time Fire Talker PR, more than full-time work. What's the, you know, what's a way other than asking Brian for 17 grand? What is a way to, you know, move that forward?
Well, like I said, you don't necessarily, are you talking specifically with gifts, or are you talking just overall?
Overall, generation of funds. I mean, to help in securing yourself long term. So, I mean, I was listening to you and I started to think about, you know, okay, so if these items on the list are not something you can do, what can you do? Or I guess maybe nothing. I don't know.
Well, yeah, those are the ones that I would say are the top ones. I mean, other than, I think the number one that you need to keep in mind is most people have 401ks. You can take a loan from a 401k and you're paying yourself back. also, if you have, like I said, if you have an IRA, which is separate from a 401k, 401ks are tied to usually like a business, like if you work for a company. But lots of people, once they've quit working for a company, they'll roll that over to an IRA. So you can take that $10,000 from the IRA. So don't forget about, I didn't talk about 401k loans. So loans, a lot of the companies do loans, and you're basically paying the money back at whatever interest rate that 401k company charges, but you're paying yourself back. The only thing you have to remember is whatever dollar amount that you take out of the 401k, that's not in the market anymore. So you're not going to be making as much because you don't have as much invested. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay. Any other questions for Karen?
I know you can't really be super specific here, right? Because it depends on how much and term and all that. But I've been really interested in the CDs lately, and especially with the Fed funds rate going up even more right now today. What are your, you said, you know, circulating those, what's the best way to term and, you know, time it wise to make sure that you're making the most efficient way, let's say a year, right? Is it 6 months? How, like, what's your recommendations?
Well, again, like I have clients that say, you know, hey, I want to invest this money just for a year. So I'll ladder the CDs 3, 6, 9 a year. And then when the 3-month comes due, we just don't reinvest it. The money dumps from it, they get the interest rate, and then we can have that money just sit there. And then in 6 months, that next CD will come due, it'll dump the interest, and so on and so on. Or you could do a year-long CD, but what I find is, and have found over the last 6 months, the interest rates went from 3% to 3.5% to 4% to 4.5% to 4.8% to 5%. So the reason why you want to ladder it is because you want to take advantage of what the current rate is. And working with a financial advisor, I can look at what's called brokered CDs, which I look across the whole United States. So I'm not just working with one bank. I can see every bank or every entity that's offering a CD, and they literally change on a daily basis. They literally change on a daily basis.
That's great.
And what's the best sorry, Brian.
No, it's fine.
I mean, as far as I see, you know, just looking at, you know, surface level stuff, Goldman Sachs is usually, you know, up there pretty high. What are your top brokered ones that you look at?
Well, it depends. So a lot of the ones that I do they're like corporate CDs, or so it's a corporation that's offering the CD, or it's like, for example, I just bought a CD for a client yesterday. I bought actually 2 CDs, and one of them is through Wells Fargo Bank. The other one is through State Bank of India out of New York. So it just depends. So I can't tell you which one's best, because it's whatever's being offered that day at the highest rate is the one that I usually try to go for. And each one, 3-month CDs are a little lower than 5%, 6-month CDs are a little higher, 9-month CDs seem to be the highest right now. So that depends too on how long you do the CD as well.
Awesome.
So we just need to send all our clients to you, and you can give them the best advice.
Exactly. PNA way,
Yes,
right there.
yes, you
Marcel,
do.
I believe you had a question as well.
Yeah, I was just curious, Karen, who taught you about budgeting? And was it when you were younger, or was it more like later in life, or like
I learned budgeting when I was in high school, which they don't teach anymore, and then just through life. And then I was looking on the internet and actually found a really cool budget program that I bought that is actually in an Excel spreadsheet, and it's very visual, and I give it to my clients because it's easy to plug in your expenses, the ones that are fixed expenses, the ones that are variable expenses. You do a budget and an actuals column, and then you put in your paychecks and any other extra money that you get for the month, and it tallies it all for you. And what is very eye-opening to my clients on the budgets is where they're overspending.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen.
Love that. Lynette, last question. Go ahead.
We couldn't convince you, Karen, to share that thing with us, could we? The budgeting thing you just talked about?
I can, yes, to you guys only.
I was gonna say, can but will you? I think that
Yeah.
was the second part that.
What Karen meant to say
Yes,
is we're
if
having a
you
seminar
do, if
on the
you do a
23rd.
one-on-one with me, I will be more than happy to share that with you.
There we go. That's how you do it. See, everybody take notes. That's how you do it. Don't give away the farm. You got to get them on the property, then sell the farm. Okay. Excellent. All right. Karen, thank you very much. We're going to go ahead and go into the actual speech breakout. So I've already reclaimed control. Dun, dun, dun. And let's give us all the quick visual here. Let's talk about the target market. I want to talk about what type of people or businesses do we all think would be ideal to refer to her. So let's do that. Go for it. Start talking. How about people that have left corporate America, right? They do have those 401s and often they forget about them, right? So they could be 6 months, a year out, and that account's not being fed. It's not being managed. It needs to be rolled over. You need to be taken care of.
People who want to sell their business or start thinking about selling it.
Great idea. Anyone else? Target market.
Me, up my alley is people that sell homes and they, are just sitting on the cash waiting for a market to crash.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Lynette?
I'd say entrepreneurs in general that are, 5 years and more, that have been in business 5 years or more, that are a bit more established, to help them, navigate, that second half of their life. And being an entrepreneur makes it a lot more difficult. So,
yeah,
I would think that would be a really big market, in training people and, bringing them to the other side of fear.
Oh, I like that. That's a quotable. Whoever's my tracker, Amy, my tracker, bring them to the other side of fear.
Bring them to the other side of fear. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else under target market? This might not be correct, but I would think people who are already working with a financial advisor and they may not even realize it, right? They may not be getting the results, or maybe after so long, it's time to take a look at what's happening, where the profit really is, how well you're diversified. If you don't know what any of those things mean, you're not being educated. Give Karen a chance to take a look at what you have, where you're at, where your goals are, and give her a chance to audit and see if there's an opportunity to move over to her. Yeah. Okay. I kind of don't want to share the screen again because I can just mention this. Next section, ideal partners, collaborative ideas. Who do we think that she might work well with, gel with within our network? What sort of resources could we be out there identifying to send her way? Ideal partners or collaborative ideas. I love the fact that Amy is going to be working with Karen for the standpoint of an event, it sounds like. Right. That's great. Mortgage, financial advisor. Lynette, you had something?
What about, and I don't know if this is even possible, because it may be, too direct in terms of competition. But for example, there are, we work with Northwestern Mutual, and I really have no idea, which is what I'm going to talk to you about, Karen, in my meeting with you, if this is going well or not. I really don't know. Seemingly, but they're in my gut, there just seems like there's a missing piece. So, but in regards to that, what I'm wondering is if Northwestern Mutual or Washington Mutual or whomever, that you're perhaps not connected with, especially Northwestern Mutual because they're enormous. What about, are there partnership opportunities there, or like a I don't know, is there a particular area of expertise that you have that perhaps some of these financial institutions that would be very much doing a lot of what you do, but is there a piece that they don't do where a contractual agreement or something might bring you, extra business?
Yeah.
I mean, is that a thing, or I don't know?
Well, yeah, it could be, if they don't, as long as they're open to that, lots of times they're not open to it because you are in direct competition with them. But like, I think there was a guest on here last time we were here. He's a financial advisor. I had a one-on-one with him, and there's things that he does that I don't do, and there's things that is, and so on. So I'll keep him in the back of in my mind and send clients over to him, even though he's a financial advisor, because he's got a niche. He's got a certain things that he's working on. So yes, but it probably doesn't work good with a big company like that because they don't think that way. It works better with smaller businesses. So
like, what about credit unions, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, if I had, a link into a credit union who they don't do financial advising,
Right.
that would be great, because I was actually going to work with Key Bank in Issaquah, but because I moved, I never followed up with him. Probably still should have, but he was going to send financial clients to me. So yeah, I mean, any type of those partnerships, because it's a win-win,
Yeah, Idaho, and I don't know if you're licensed in Idaho,
I
but
am.
and Amy, do you live in Idaho, by the way?
Partially, like 70,
Okay.
30. So I actually have stay there 30% of the year. But
Because
yeah,
I see the 208 area code. So,
yeah.
and the reason I say that is because I'm just personally unimpressed with Idaho on many levels. And with Idaho Central Credit Union, they have a lot of holes but they're a very great group of people. Cap Ed is another one here. Again, super nice people. But long story short, are they doing more for their clients in terms of financial advising and so on? I don't think so.
Okay.
So if you find a way to do that, or if you can do that, I would be more than happy to make introductions.
Okay.
It sounds
Also,
like
I
you have a
think-
lot to talk about during your one-to-one, so you
Yeah.
can get that spreadsheet too. That's fantastic.
How about divorce attorneys?
I was just gonna say that.
Good
Family
referral.
law,
Karen Quack.
family
Not
law would
competition,
be-
but they're just like, my client needs to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
with
forgot to
Karen-
talk about that part of it. I also work with divorced people.
Yeah, I was gonna say with Karen's, is that a pending certification?
It
Or-
is. I keep moving the
Okay.
test date, but
Yeah. But that's an alarmingly lax area in
Yeah.
your world to have the certified specialty. And can you remind me the name of it?
So it's a certified divorce financial analyst.
Thank
So
you.
it's the CDFA.
CDFA,
And
thank you.
basically it's a person that you hire to help you with the financial piece of the divorce, because the lawyers just throw financial packages at you and say, here, fill this out.
Did you connect? I think we talked about this at some point. Do you know Karen Cork?
Yep.
Karen,
I
you
talked
do,
to her.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Talk to her.
So that's another potential focus. Also for the last segment here, the other categories. Let's look at the legal entities. Kelly, you may not know this. You're being mauled by a tiny human. You might need to put the protections up. Anyway, okay, so excellent. Thank you all for your input there. Let's look into beneficial syndications, videos, social medias, blogs. What can she provide us that we can in turn help syndicate, which means share it out to our network? Or do we have any resources we could turn on to her way? We're not behind on time. Let's just keep this going here. And then any kudos, any thoughts you have for the presenter and her efforts?
I
today.
just shared something, Karen, called the Wealth Destroyers. So tomorrow is May the 4th, and I think it would be really funny to hear what your wealth destroyers are, because like, again, sometimes timing, just what the network is talking about, it would be really interesting. So
Yeah.
maybe consider what are the wealth destroyers, because again, talking to that daddy type or the mommy type who loves Star Wars, they need some help. So
Lynette, I got you. Your hand is stuck on the screen in your little corner thing there. So, okay, go for it.
Whatever you like with the wealth destroyers, whatever articles because I know you write articles, Karen. So wherever, I don't always see them. But if you can have one of your assistants, I don't know if it might help all of us. Maybe we get a ping from, a little email from one of Karen's assistants that says, LinkedIn, newest LinkedIn article, one little sentence with a link. Because I feel that there are, and it's part of what I've been learning in the last 6 months since I had COVID. People are not prepared. They're not. And people don't think about it until you feel like you're going to die. So if you're writing about that over and over again in different ways, I think that's a major plus in bringing you new business, and I will share the living hell out of it. So I'm just wondering if that might be a small thing to add to your VA's list.
If you guys put all your information for your businesses, including your email, if you're not in my email database, I send out a newsletter monthly, and I just talked about estate planning and those types of things. So I can have my assistant maybe send more. We should probably do more email marketing and do things like that. Check out this article, check out this. I try to, in my newsletter, put relevant information. I always like to have people know what are all the companies talking about. And the biggest thing you all need to know is we are really going into a recession at the end of this year. So they've been talking that we're in a lowercase r recession for the last year. But so this is where I'm having people dump their money into CDs up until like the beginning of fourth quarter, because we want to make as much money as we can before the market starts to go down. So
awesome. Okay.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah. Let's hide me, right? That's way cooler. Okay, so love the feedback that we're getting here. Anything else under like a kudo you want to give her? Anything positive? I mean, Karen, I'm just gonna say, love it. Love the fact that you stepped up the last minute. Very thankful for that. You get a chance to put my dumb graphic in the background. But I like the fact that you make your world sound less scary and terrifying and utterly gnarly and gross, because you have a big, beautiful brain and you do amazing things with it. And just really, really appreciate the fact that you're tackling this world so I don't have to.
And thank you for your generosity. I mean, you give a lot of information, and that's
plus you're licensed in all of those states. You need to have that die cast onto a belt buckle now that you're in Arizona, right? So have that on a belt buckle, nice big oval, it all imprinted, right? Then yeehaw with your money right smack in the middle. Okay. Last category or last section of the speech breakout, other categories that we can bring in. I think we've covered the family law. It'd be really great to have that, plus business law. People, business lawyers do things, and they're also heavily involved in everything from separating out accounts within a business and making sure packages are done correctly. What else can we think of?
Are you doing, I'm sure you are you doing in-person and virtual workshops?
That's not what we're doing right now, Lynette.
Oh, I thought that was, we're going for the next level of.
Like
well, you're welcome to answer your question, but we're talking about other business categories we can bring in here.
Oh, I was thinking that as a category, I guess.
Oh, well, okay.
something that maybe she's not doing that, where she could bring other businesses in that might be potential clients. So maybe that wasn't 100%.
That's the roundabout way.
So.
I like the way you think. Okay. I'm not sure if you're supposed to answer or not, Karen.
CPA or bookkeeper.
Well, because I guess I thought you were other businesses we could bring into this digital PNA, right?
Yeah, that's
Oh, is that what yours got?
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we're supposed to be talking about.
Okay,
yeah.
scratch what I said.
No,
So
how about we scratch it after what we're supposed to be talking about, which is other businesses that we can bring in here. So, because it's a great question, Lynette. So other businesses, bookkeeper, right? CPA wouldn't hurt. They can work with
Yep.
anyone across the state or multiple states, even depending on their skill
Massage
set.
therapist. Their people are all stressed out.
Okay,
Maybe. Just trying.
maybe. Not sure how that works with a digital group, but okay.
Well, but their clientele
Teach
is
me
like
how to
tight neck
do
and
things.
It could lead a meditation where
they
you,
could, yeah.
True.
rub your own neck, or to
Yeah.
what
a
Marcel said.
mindset coach, maybe.
Give me the Spock thing. I'll just drop like a sack of cement here on the recorded call. Okay.
Yeah, like a business coach would be good.
Yeah. Actually, we supposed to have a business coach here today, and he's not here, unfortunately. But yes, business coach would be great. And of course, Bob is also a business coach.
Mhm.
Holy crap! What is that animal behind you, dude? Jeez Louise, you have like a
What about like a chiropractor? I mean,
Yeah,
I know
any
that
of
would
them.
be a more local thing in terms of like you guys all taking this person on, but or not taking him on, but becoming a client. But I have been learning a lot recently about how much more chiropractors know than just, adjusting your neck. So I'm just wondering if that type of value, were it beneficial, they might be a good resource.
Yeah. Any of the trades, or sorry, any of the wellness trades, like Marcel mentioned, the massage, the chiropractor, like you've mentioned, anyone in a chair or a table being worked on, all they do is blather on about things, and they do actually end up becoming great resources for referrals. So you are spot on. Okay.
Also, like a personal stylist. I know that's kind of a unique thing, but I feel like women who are like on their up and up, like would need Karen to make sure, one, that they can budget the nice new clothes, but also that retirement's going to be easy breezy, beautiful.
Okay. I like that.
How do you, Brian and everybody, how do you feel about, for example, I have spoken to many people about this group, and one of the first things out of their mouth is who's in the group.
Yep.
So can they afford me? Am I going to be able to bring these people in as my clients? Are they, it's always revolves around that. So what do you recommend as a counter to why this would be a benefit for them to take an hour and a half,
I think that's a great question. And it's always the first thing people think of, what's in it for me?
Right.
I think if you challenge people right off the bat to not even give them the opportunity to think about that, it's what's the value can they bring to the chapter? Because when they establish relationships over time, they will earn referrals. A referral network-based business, any one of them, whether it's the big ones out there that are international or ones like this, digital or a brick and mortar chapter, it's based off of establishing relationships and earning the right to referrals. Cost may or may not be an issue, but it becomes less of an issue if they come in with open arms and an open mind versus this. This is not the type of member we want in any of these groups.
So when I'm hearing that kind of stuff, typically I will go with my gut and I say, oh yeah, it's probably not a good group for you, but at the same time, maybe I'm missing something in that.
Instead of saying that, ask them to visit. Because it can be a back and forth, it can be a discord, or it can be positive, but I would say don't go down that route.
Yeah.
Invite them as a guest, invite them to talk to any one of us offline from the standpoint of kind of a testimonial.
Yeah.
Some of us it takes a year plus to earn business. But
Right.
maybe it's because you're in a business that's more difficult,
Yeah.
right? To
Well,
earn
and
business.
Lynette, the thought leadership and the value per hour of the people on this call, I know nobody here is charging $20 an hour, right? You guys are all charging a lot, or you're
Yeah.
commission based. So the value of the people on this call, I would put easily over $1,000 an hour just from the resources, right? But if
Right.
people aren't willing to share they have a need, we can't open up our network to them. And
Yeah.
that's kind of you learn that over time. And like if you've got an issue, I almost guarantee somebody here can solve it for them within a week, right? Like that's a pretty powerful back
Yeah.
pocket to have, right? But if you're just trying to get a lead
Yeah.
every week, that may or may not be the right place.
Again,
So
Right.
it's this versus this. You know, if they're
Yeah.
open to engaging, open to showing up twice a month, if they're open to having one-to-ones, taking the time it takes to establish the relationships in order to earn the referrals, those are the people that get business, because then price is not an issue, or it becomes less of an issue, right?
Right.
So let's go back to the focus here once again, other categories. I love the fact that Kelly put in, she loved a grant writer and a fundraising expert. Those are two very unique categories. Also a copywriter and a copy editor, two completely separate things if you don't know. I would absolutely love that. I'd love to get a video specialist. Again, this is an open category group in the sense that it's not closed. It can't just be one of everybody. Marcel does video. I even do video, but I want someone who is fully trained and versatile on the entire Adobe suite and beyond, that can create 3D motion graphics and everything else. So a video expert, someone who can do editing, pre and post would be brilliant to have in this group.
Is that something that you're looking for as well, Brian?
I always want to have those people in my proverbial Star Wars Chewbacca bandolier. And it is a bandolier that he wears, people. It's not a belt. So anyway.
A STEM expert that focuses on, and I'll tell you what I mean. There is a young man that I'm working with right now. His company is called Why Chess and STEM. It's a brilliant concept in working with underprivileged children, and hear me out, and teaching them STEM. It's like algebra, learning how to think, right? That's what I was told by my algebra teacher. So, and leveraging learning how to play chess and how that translates into the world of STEM. Now, am I talking about this person coming in and wants to teach us all to play chess, but no, what I'm looking at is the fact that he speaks, blows my mind. He speaks across the country about how to leverage STEM, not only in how you apply it to teams and leadership, but in these different ways of thinking, but in opening the door to helping people, helping entrepreneurs in growing their business. You don't have to be an underprivileged child. For example, he's going to teach me how to play chess and also teach me the process of how I can shift my thinking as a business owner. And they didn't teach STEM when I was in school. So
Lynette, my short answer is yes. They're an ideal person that could be in this group, or if it's applicable, a physical location if they're in the Pacific Northwest.
He's in Idaho here. Okay, he's in Boise.
So currently DigitalPNA, and I say that because it's not always the product or service they bring to the table. It's their network, it's their knowledge, it's their connectivity, and in due course ours that we can bring to he, she, or them, right? So there's absolutely an opportunity there. We've had some weird freaking business categories in PNA Northwest in the past that people would never think they'd survive, they'd last, whatever, and they've been rock stars. From dry cleaners to florists to junk luggers, like the junk removal places, to, like you said, people who, You wouldn't think they'd find a niche, whatever, that works for them, but it just does. So absolutely.
He has Asperger's. He's just like, I don't think I've met anyone quite so brilliant and quite so humble as this
Love
kid.
it. I'd love to meet him. See if we can get him at the next one. Okay. All right, folks, here we go. We need to move forward. Thank you all for your input after Karen's speech. That was brilliant. Very much appreciated. We're at the referrals and testimonials portion now. So if you do have a referral or a testimonial, speak toward it. And also, here's something else. If you have closed a business opportunity that was enacted by a referral here in the Digital PNA network, speak toward it. Let's hear about it. Number drop. We're supposed to be celebrating each other. So if you're willing to do something like that, I'd love to hear about it. So reasonably quickly, we got 10 minutes left. Let's go around the room. Let's just start with Jorge. I think I know what his initial response is, but let's hear from you, big guy, since you're so new to the network.
Right. Can you tell me what I'm supposed to speak about?
Yeah, the referrals or testimonials. Like I said, chances are you don't have referrals, but it'd be great if you did a course or a testimonial about your experiences in PNA so far, something to that effect.
Absolutely. So far, everyone in the group has been amazing. Thank you to the people who have reached out. As you guys all know, I'm fairly new to the real estate world myself. My wife has been doing it way longer than I have, so she's way ahead of the game. I do, as Brian mentioned, live in the middle of nowhere. So it's been easy for me to go around and talk to businesses that kind of jive with what we do here at PNA. And the only struggle I have so far has been getting them to continue the conversation, right? But I think as long as they see, as soon as they see the value that we bring, I think they would be less hesitant to continue. So far, my testimonial has been, Brian's absolutely the man. He knows exactly what he's doing. I want to, build something for myself out here. And we're still in the throwdowns of that, very early in that stage. But I love being here. Thanks for having me here, Brian. Thank you.
You bet.
And it's been, it's great. So looking forward to the future.
Thank you. I'll cash app you the $20 payoff there. Okay. For the nice thing that you just said about me. Okay, Lynette, go for it.
Gosh. Okay, I'll be quick. Believe it or not. I have 3. One, and forgive me if I've said this already, but Brian was extremely gracious in helping me make some determinations with a very intense, troubled client who was trying to create a book and from a mess. Anyway, Brian was wonderful in helping me, jumping in and helping me look at some issues with art and layouts and so on, and giving me advice. So thank you, Brian, very much for that and being there for me. And Marcel, your brilliance. You are growing and growing, and I see the changes you're making, and to me, that's a great inspiration. And there are still things that I need to take advantage of with you, which I will. And Karen, there are just no words. You're brilliant and you offer so much to so many people. And there are not too many financial experts that are willing to help people, or at least, give them information they can start with. And I know that about you, and I see it, and I applaud it.
Thank you.
Well, no one wants to follow that, but Amy, go ahead and try. Thank you,
I
Linda.
somehow knew you were gonna do that to me. I just knew it.
That was totally random, I promise you.
Yeah. That's awesome, Lynette. I couldn't agree more. I think Karen's just a book of knowledge. I'd said it before everybody else jumped on, but my testimonials are, just that I joined PNA last year, and it was Woodinville at the time, which is no longer existing because we were able to join another group. But the amount of generosity, knowledge, and I guess community involvement that I was able to get from what Brian and Marcel have, been able to establish here a little bit. Marcel, mostly Brian. It's just being involved, getting people and being that hero for them, to bring them on as well, to bring other people on. And then they thank you for bringing other people to the table, just because they were able to benefit either, knowledge or referrals or whatever the case might have been. But honestly, it's been pretty awesome to be able to be part of such a great community, online and in person.
Thank you,
Thank
Amy.
you, Brian and Marcel. And then one more little testimonial. Karen is awesome. Part of what she was sharing today is what she's going to do for me in a couple weeks. It was supposed to be next Tuesday, but we're pushing it out to the 23rd for a higher attendance. So if anybody does have any first time home buyers, JR or Lynette or Kelly, you guys know of, that you guys want your first time home buyers, or you guys want to attend, she might dive a little deeper in our seminar, and people might ask questions that weren't asked here. But you guys are welcome to join. But again, thank you, Karen, for being such a valuable asset.
Can I ask a quickie, Amy and Karen? Can I bring an agent, or she's a broker who knows 5 million people across the country? I mean, is that a good person to maybe connect you with, and you can tell her, or you can email me and give me a blurb about this event that I can share with her, and then she may bring people to you.
That's actually a perfect candidate for it. And if they don't know 5 million people over the states, they're not welcome. So only if they know that many. Sorry.
Okay, got it.
Absolutely. And we can
right.
shoot the group, or I don't know how you get the daily schedule and all that out to everybody, but do you have an email, Brian, that you send everybody every week, or how do you work
for this? Yes,
like a synopsis of the meeting.
Oh, okay. So we haven't been really taking like the equivalent secretary notes from physical chapters. We've been taking some. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Well, I guess I can email Brian the information, and then Brian can email it out to you.
Yeah.
And I'll put my email in here again, and that might be really fast, and then I'll get that out today.
Okay, ladies, I apologize. We really need to move on. Marcel, go for it. And then Karen.
So I'm going to drop this kind of referral introduction for Karen, but anybody could benefit from this gal. So this woman is covering things I wasn't able to talk about in Financial Joy because I hadn't learned them yet, but she covers like financial abuse, financial empowerment. So if you have people that have gone through kind of a tragic or traumatic financial path, she's a phenomenal person. So Karen, my challenge to you is let's get you guys on a podcast together, and then send all her people over to Amy for funding. And actually, Amy, I tried to get my mom to call you the other day, and my mom was a very difficult client, so it's almost good that it didn't work, but she was almost there. Like I tried really hard, and she's like, anyway, long story, but I tried. So I'm gonna keep trying, but she's difficult. And then Brian, I don't remember what you did for me. Oh, you just shared my video, my YouTube video. Thank you. So may the force be with you. I mean, the choice be with you. And then Miss Kelly, I know you're doing a fantastic job. You've been showing up at the Revenue Ringlet. You are earning and growing and making moves in our community. And I just think that the local police force is so grateful to have you, because you are doing things for them that the average consumer or civilian wouldn't even think about doing it. And I just love that you have a big heart and you're doing great things. And I think that project with you and LaughTech and Bob, let's keep working on that, because that's gonna be a really cool deal.
Okay. Y'all have 45 seconds and we still have other things to cover. Sorry, Karen.
Oh, just real quick.
Sorry.
plug for Laugh Tech. So a few years back, was in one of their, what was the name of the?
At that point, it was the mini series. It was the 101
series. I know
series.
it's different. So I was in the mini series, and it teaches you how to bring humor into your presentations. And I have the book, and I need to go back because
Oh, wonderful.
I'm not very humorous in my presentations, other than I'm a ding dong. Thank you to also Marcel. I worked with Marcel in the past. She's really good with the stuff that she does. And I'm looking forward to working with Amy and doing that presentation in a couple of weeks. And for Kelly, I used to be on the board of nonprofits for about 10 years. So I don't, when we do our one-on-one, you can pick my brain, those types of things. I know several people that can write grants. They're great grant writers, those types of things. So I can hook you up to them. And I don't know Jorge yet, so whenever I get to meet you, I will probably say something nice about you, but you seem like a nice guy. And Lynette, love you. I'm glad you showed up. I missed you, and I look forward to our next one-on-one.
Awesome. Kelly, Karen took 35 of your 45 seconds, so no.
That's
Go ahead.
okay. Karen, I'm going to figure out a time because all your times, oh, hey. All your time's available are when I have a bunch of kids in the house. So I'll figure out and I'll get all my paperwork together before we jump on. And I always thank Brian and Marcel. You guys are amazing. Thank you for believing in me and keeping me going because things have been super rough lately. So just thank you a lot.
You're doing amazing things. Thank you for that. So folks, I'm going to go ahead and share screen again really quickly. From the slideshow perspective, Karen spoke today. You all know that. Thank you very much. She actually took Corey's spot, who is the financial advisor with a specific niche like she was speaking about. Corey will be speaking on the 17th. And remember, on a month that there's 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks in it, whatever, we're still only meeting the 1st and 3rd. Okay, so our next meeting will be the 7th. And Kelly, you're on the batting box or whatever.
I have no clue what I'm going to talk about, but I'm sure you'll help
There's
me.
plenty of time for us to have a conversation. So that's a speaker rotation. I want to mention for anyone local or anyone who likes driving from Cle Elum, which is again across the border, use your passport, get past the border, everything. We will be having a really fun comedy night at a local Good Brewing Barrel House. $15 for prepay, $20 at the door. We always sell out these shows. We're incredibly lucky that the community has been so responsive. So that's a fun night. That is on the 19th of this month now. And also for any of you, whether you're a PNA member or not, bring your friends, bring your family, bring someone you hate. It doesn't matter because it's a 16-level ship. You won't see them for a week unless they also go to the seminar. That is happening March 2nd through 9th, 2024. We're going to the Mexican Riviera because cold places are for quitters. We're going to warm places. It's going to be an amazing time. The business seminar is still only $200. In June, the price goes up $100 to $300. So I wanted to just kind of let everyone know about that. We are a few minutes over. If anyone has any other quick questions or things need to shout out, go for it. Other than that, my dog wants to be like rocked to sleep here. But yes, Annette, you're so adorable with the hand raising and then the digital thing.
And I don't know why this keeps going up. I'm raising
mine
this,
does it
but
too.
I don't.
Mine has motion recognition now. So if I do that, it
Maybe that's why mine does. But anyway, I was wondering, Marcel and Brian, if you could stay after a couple of minutes. I have a business opportunity for you.
Okay.
Here in the Boise area that I want to run past you and gauge your interest.
That sounds good. Excellent.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone else? If not, have a wonderful rest of your week. Be good. Be awesome. Tell someone else how good and awesome they are. Trust me, it's worth it. I'm going to stop